I don't think so. I didn't have my.
Okay, so I'll just make comments and you'll do that.
Okay.
Great.
All right. Good afternoon. Andreas isn't here, so good afternoon. All right. My name is Bruce Hayek. I'm the head of the ECE department. These investiture events are a thrilling experience for me to see the faculty and the students and how the alumni and donors support the department and the families support the faculty. So it's good to see this all come together. We have several fellows, faculty fellows and scholar awards to recognize today. These go back 2 years. I mean, some of these were from the fall of 2020, and spring of 2020 and the spring of 2021. So we're just getting caught up in this category. So today we have Haitham El Hassanieh. We're going to recognize him as the Yi-Min Wang and Pai-Yu Chung Fellow in ECE, Arjit Banerjee as the M. Stanley Helm Fellow, Mark Allen Hasegawa Johnson as the William L. Everett Scholar in ECE, Raluca Illy as a M.E. Van Valkenburg Fellow in ECE, Michael Olsey as a Frederick G. or Elizabeth H. Naring Scholar in ECE, Alexander Schwing as the W.J. Jerry Sanders III Advanced Micro Devices Incorporated Scholar in ECE, and Jijong Jane Zhao as a William L. Everett Scholar in ECE. These individuals have demonstrated exceptional commitment to both teaching and research and are among the department's highest priorities for support. Their work has been and continues to be a valued asset. The honors we present today signify distinction beyond that which is implied by a normal professorship, and we are able to recognize their exceptional scholarship thanks to the alumni and friends who generously provided the funds and support to make these appointments possible. Okay, and I know there's some guests here. I could maybe recognize them. First of all, Alex Schwing brought his wife, Jane Jijong Zhao. Okay. Jane Jijong Zhao brought her husband, Alex. Okay, we have the family and friends of Raluca Illy, her husband, students. And Mike Olsey has some students. Some students are, okay. And Mark Hasajawa Johnson's wife is you here. Hello. And Arjeep Banerjee has colleagues in the Hytham. There's a lot of colleagues here. So did I leave any family members out? Yes. Oh, wife and the baby. I've not seen the baby. Welcome. It's less than a year old, right? So a little less. 10 months, okay. Okay, I'd like to introduce Dean Rashid Bashir to discuss the institutional importance of this faculty recognition. Rashid.
Thank you, Bruce. Good afternoon. Again, one more time. Yes, good afternoon. All right, thank you all for being here. I'm so glad that we are able to do this in person. Let's hope that this window is long enough and it continues on. But it's just been really great. As you know, we've been having actually many investitures, and it's just so wonderful to see all of you back in person. I was telling Andreas, joking, that the budget meetings are like here, and these events are like here in terms of the excitement and how much of a pleasure this is. So, as you know, one of the most important things we do here is also to recognize our colleagues for their excellence, for their impact, and for the tremendous work that they're doing. So this is certainly one of the best parts of the job. So I'm really glad to be here, and it's really my privilege and my honor to be here and to recognize our colleagues, Professor Al-Hassani, Professor Banerjee, Professor Hasiaga Johnson, Professor Illy, Professor Molin, and Mike and Professor Olsey, and Professor Schwing and Professor Zhao. So this is I'm so glad that we were able to kind of do this, and also do this, of course, for the last few years. The naming of as a scholar or a fellow is certainly one of the highest recognitions, that we can give to our faculty members. And today's ceremony certainly reflects that dignity. So we're just really so delighted and so pleased. On behalf of the Granger College of Engineering and the campus, I can really say that I'm just so honored, and really want to congratulate all of you from the bottom of my heart for everything that you have done. And we're just so proud of your accomplishments. And what is yet to come. This is only the beginning, I would say. Everyone that's being recognized today, they have, of course, so much more still to do, and this is just a recognition of really as much not only of the past, but really the future. These recognitions really communicate the global eminence of our faculty to the world's academic community. They empower us to open new frontiers, to open up new lines of research, new lines of scholarship, and to really make an impact, not only, of course, on the community that we live in, on the nation, but the world and humanity at large. These positions are just so important to not only attract, but retain our world-class faculty here with us at the University of Illinois. And today really begins sort of a new era, I would say. Your titles will change, your email, headers will change. So we really are so excited about this recognition for all of you today. And today again begins a new day, one that encompasses and anticipates the yet unknown breakthroughs in knowledge and scholarship and teaching that I know you will all pioneer. So we're just so excited. And of course, all of this is possible through very generous support of our donors. Many of them, you'll see the names, of course, again. But that's again such a strong testament of the support of our alumni, our friends, and their families that make these gifts possible. So today is a day to celebrate the excellence in teaching, excellence in research, excellence in service, and I'm just so thrilled to be here. I'm just humbled, like I said, to be doing all I can from the college's perspective to advance our mission and to make you all even more widely successful. So thank you very much, Bruce, for your leadership, and again, congratulations to all of you. Thank you.
Okay, let's begin by welcoming Romit Roy Chaudhry. He'll introduce Haitham El Hassanieh, who will be named the Yi Min Wang and Pai Yu Chung Fellow in ECE.
Good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to introduce my colleague, Professor Haitham Hassanieh. When I first met Haitham, it was a wireless robotics workshop in Berkeley. I forget, Haitham, how many years back that was, but he was around a final year student at that point. And he had come along with his advisor, Dina Katabi, and he was already in sharp contrast with the rest of the students, especially the final year students at that workshop, simply because he was just standing quietly at a corner and not talking to anybody, not trying to impress anyone else over there. And later, when his advisor, Dina, told me that he's one of the best students she has had ever, I mean, I took a mental note of that because our faculty recruitment was warming up. And I already liked him even just after a handshake, actually. And fast forward 2 years, I remember working very hard to actually convince him to come to Illinois, and that happened. And it has been an absolute pleasure to have him both as a colleague and a collaborator and a friend in the department. Haitham's PhD work was on sparse Fourier transform, which won him the ACM Doctoral Dissertation Award. That's basically the best PhD research, PhD thesis across the whole world. And while many of us were thinking that he was going to continue on that line of work and keep pushing and nibbling away, he actually decided to do something completely different. He started working on 5G networks once he joined Illinois. I remember thinking to myself that it was very risky to kind of let go of everything that you've done for the last 5 years for what you've gotten the dissertation award and completely embark on something very, very different. But then I realized he's an exceptional candidate, so I'll just let him be and not give him any feedback as a senior colleague. Within a few years, Haitham had identified some of the key problems in 5G networks and had come up with some very elegant solutions in a very crowded space in which both academia and industry are working heavily. His one line of work looks at how beamforming, which is very crucial for millimeter wave and 5G networks, and which is very slow today, he figured out how to actually make beamforming very fast. And not only that, he figured out how to use beamforming for indoor networks such that many communications can happen in parallel, and that sped up things significantly. In another line of work that he started later as a faculty at Illinois, Haitham is focused on wireless sensing in the context of self-driving cars. So he's built a millimeter wave radar which actually senses the environment even when there is fog and rain, and even when all the other cars are moving at high speeds. And the results are really, really impressive. Not only on paper, not only on the algorithmic front, but also as real demos. I remember going to his demo where in his garage, there was like smog and fog-filled garage, and his radios are figuring out what is around, what objects are around in the environment. And it's actually fascinating to see how algorithm and real life come together in his research lab. This work was awarded the Qualcomm Innovation Fellowship in 2019, which, as all of you know, is the most prestigious fellowship given because it's a competition between the top 15 universities in the US. I want to finish up by saying Haitham is a great teacher as well. He's been continuously the dean's in the list of top teachers in the campus, and he's a remarkable individual. He was stuck in Lebanon for more than 2 years because of visa issues. And even with his students working remotely and him being in this anxious state where he cannot meet them, his productivity is 3x mine and many others in the department. And even after all of this, he's never frazzled, he's never angry, he's never bitter. He's always happy, kind, fair, and a terrific friend and a terrific individual. All in all, he's a model Illinois faculty, a model scholar and fellow, and extremely deserving of the Yi Min Wang and P.U. Chung Fellow in ECE. Congratulations, Haitham.
Thank you, Romit. Hytham, I'd like to invite you to the stage. It's my honor to recognize you as the inaugural holder of the Yi Men Wang and Pai Yu Chung Fellow in ECE. Thank you.
Thank you, Bruce, and thank you, Romit. So 7 years ago, around this time, I was actually sitting with Romit at Espresso Royale on Windsor Road. I remember exactly it was raining, and he convinced me to join UIUC. He made all the right arguments why this is the right place, and ever since has been a match made in heaven. My collaboration with Romit alone, I couldn't have wished for a better collaborator. But not only Romit, I've worked with so many people here and had such great students that it has been one of the best decisions of my life. I just want to two plugs in. Thanks for Bruce. Bruce has put a lot of effort to bring me back, and without all the effort he's put, I would not be standing right here. And of course, to my wife, without whom I'm basically nothing. She's my entire world and my son. So thank you all, and congratulations to everyone else. This is one of the best departments in the world, some of the best people in the world, and I'm so glad to have been part of it for the last 6 years. Thank you.
Thank you, Hytham. Next, I'd like to invite Pete Sauer to come up and introduce Arjit Banerjee, who will be the M. Stanley Helm Fellow.
Thank you, Bruce. It's really a thrill for me to do this. Arjit Banerjee has been an assistant professor in ECE for about 5 years. He has amassed a fantastic record of achievements, and I can't go into all of them. His resume has some, but I was going to talk a little about some that I've witnessed more recently. Just 4 days ago, last Thursday, Arjit arranged a video tour remotely for the Granger Awards ceremony, and watching him live were Tim Killeen, Chancellor Jones was somewhere, Provost Cangelaris, the Granger Foundation, 16 Granger awardees and their families, all in a virtual environment. And Arjit gave them a tour that was quite spectacular, including interviews with students. He knows how to do things in the laboratory. He already has more patents than I had journal papers when I was his age. And he's been recognized with this for Stan Helm as a fellow. He's as dedicated as Stan Helm was, and Arjit has added his own touch to teaching, research, and service, in addition to being recognized for his teaching many times, including here last night with Dean Bashir. And his research has been recognized by the power electronics and machines communities, the NSF, and the U.S. Patent Office. I could go into what he does, and it involves, in one that I know about quite well, is the modeling dynamics, simulation of robotics, and the importance of a spine. And the spine is the key to getting motion correct. And he did that using the human body, and he adapted it to the robotic dynamics. And I believe that's very unique. When I came to Illinois 44 years ago, I essentially replaced Stan Helm. M.S. Helm is his name. His first name was Marion. He wouldn't let anybody use it. But he had been here for 44 years. And he retired in 1982 and continued to help the power area for 20 years until 2003 when he died. When he died, his own students created a fund in his name, and it was called the Helm Fund for Student Awards. One student. This was back when we didn't have that many awards. That award still exists, but a little while, about a week after he died, his wife died. And a little while after that, their only son died of an accident and an infection. And his only daughter, their only daughter, Alice Helm, died from a stroke. And she was it. There were no more Helms. So she took the family fortune, such as it was for a professor in those days, and she gave half of the income that they had amassed and gave it to our ECE department for this. She added it to the Helm Award, which allowed us to now extend it to the fellow process. And she gave the other half to the microbiology department where she was a professor, Alice, the daughter. So I thought that was interesting history about Stan Helm. He is the source of the funding for this, and he's also the reason I'm here because I took his place. And I consider Arijit to have taken my place because I retired 2 years ago. And Arijit has already surpassed what I had as my career goals. The things he has done are quite spectacular, and the entire power group of electrical and computer engineering, we're proud to call him our friend and our colleague, and he is going to be the future of that area of electrical engineering. Congratulations, Arijit.
Arijit, you're next. Come on up.
This is for last night and tonight.
Thank you so much. You bet. Watch it.
Yep.
Come on. This is to Arijit Banerjee, Helm for Excellence and Power Fellow, the Granger College of Engineering, Electrical and Computer Engineering.
Thank you so much, Bruce. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you everyone for coming, and it's really a great honor, and I'm really humbled with this recognition here. Typically it's much easier to teach in a class than to speak like this, I'll be honest with you. So it's like a lot of things are going behind me. So I brought a small cheat sheet because I think without some of the help I received from the department and from my family, it's impossible to excel here and to get to the stage where I am. So I would really like to thank my family, my parents who are back in India. Right now probably they're sleeping, they don't even know I'm getting this award. And my wife and son who are here, not here, but again, they have their own schedule and so on, so they couldn't make it here. I would also like to thank my students. Without them, this was almost impossible, particularly my graduate students. I see Bonyun here, but Fook, my first PhD student, Shivang, Eli, Samira, Anuj, and Furkan, they were just spectacular to work with. I learned every day from them, so it's a great honor to be with them. Countless undergraduate students, I can't even name all of them. Without them, my life is almost meaningless, to be honest with you. Given this role I am in, I think I really enjoy everything I do with my students here. My colleagues, Power Group, again, it's an amazing group. You should be all a member of Power Group, to be honest with you, to know what is inside. But it's really an honor to be a part of this world-renowned Power Group. Name it Pete, Phil, George, Kiruba, Alejandro, Richard, Bose, Andrew. It's just amazing. And we have Kevin and Joyce and Robin as our support staff, so it's just amazing to be with them. Beyond Power Group, I have to name the entire department. So I will just name a few of my colleagues here, but again, I get a lot of help from everyone in the department. My mentor, Naresh, Pavan, Jaunt, Linford, Larry, Daniel, Cyan, Sanjay, Michael, Erhan, Romit, Chandra, Love, and Gary, to name a few of them. But again, I get a lot of help from everyone. Department head, again, Bruce, thank you so much for all the support you do. Din Bashir, thank you so much for your leadership. And there are few people who don't get that limelight they deserve, typically. The business office folks, Catherine and Scott, they are just amazing. I don't think that kind of support we get any other place in the world. So Catherine, Scott, Jennifer, Jen, and Bev, you guys are amazing. And the last, but not the least, and this is why I joined Illinois, to be honest with you, the machine shop folks, okay, Scott and Greg and their colleagues. Without the machine shop folks, I wouldn't have achieved what I have achieved so far. So thank you, everyone. Thanks so much for making me a part of your family.
Congratulations, Arjit. So next, I have the honor of saying a few words about Mark Hasegawa Johnson, who is being honored as a William L. Everett Scholar in ECE. He received his degrees from MIT. After working as a software engineer in Los Angeles for 3 years, he joined Illinois in 1999. He's been on the faculty and a member of the Beckman Institute since then. He's a fellow of the Acoustical Society of America by IEEE. He's graduated 28 PhD students and 34 MS students, and he frequently makes the list of teachers ranked as excellent. You've heard much lately about machine learning and natural language processing. Much of that work takes text as input and works to distill meaning and sentiment. Mark's work, on the other hand, takes spoken speech as input for automatic speech recognition. As you know, Zhipei Liang has set a high bar for talks like this at these ceremonies. And he's also taught us that it's not just what you say, but how you say it. And that's exactly what Mark's research is about. He's well known for his work on the theory of prosody, which I hope I pronounced correctly, which is the patterns of stress and intonation in a language. The patterns of rhythm and sound is poetry. Mark has repeatedly demonstrated there's much more to speech than the words themselves, but also how they're spoken. He is one of the first to propose using a rich dynamic Bayesian networks, or Bayesian neural network architectures, to integrate all the aspects of speech, including especially the prosody. More specifically, the methods of, so you take the words and break them into smaller pieces, and then look at the rhythm and the pitch, and combine those with the words. So you get, it's like a nonlinear gain where you get more than taking either one separately. He showed that matching the sequence of C-knowns, a C-known is a little piece of a word, using the Markov modeling helps understand the speech. He's done fascinating work with multiple languages and language patterns of non-native speakers, of languages with large populations of speakers, to many languages spoken by fewer than 1 million people. So in your native language, you may learn these prosodies in little pieces, and then you try going over to another language, then you're going to carry that over with you, and that could be recognized. And this can also be used for people with speech impairments, or they have cerebral palsy, or they stutter, and having an analytical analysis of the speech patterns, not just the words, but how words are spoken, how they're understood in an analytical way, has large implications. He's also developed a crowdsourcing method called the Rapid Prosodic Transcription, RPT, which they're able to find the percentage of listeners who hear a prosodic prominence, or emphasis, or special salience, or break, a phrase boundary at every possible location in the utterance, even when the listeners have never heard of prosody and they don't know what it means. So it's there, it's in the speech, and Mark can measure it and make analysis of it, even if we don't know the mathematics behind it. These methods have been the foundation for new theories of the way in which humans hear meaning in speech. In particular, the new theories give a numerical, quantifiable measurement of the degree to which listeners hear what they want to hear. Another aspect is separating speech from background. So if there's noise and you want to understand the speech, that's challenging, or if you have multiple conversations going on. Mark has also service-oriented. Just as a recent example, the Granger College of Engineering Executive Committee decided to outsource the job of getting evaluations for course and curriculum changes. They decided this is too much work. We want to do more fun stuff. So they asked each department to come up with a person to serve on this committee to evaluate these courses, and we offered up Mark Hasegawa Johnson because he was the recent chair of the curriculum committee, where he also did an excellent job. And I thought, this is really a lot of work, Mark. How about if you do it for one semester, and then we'll get somebody else to do it for another semester, because this is a lot of work. So the next I heard, Mark became the chair of that committee. So that's just an example, and no complaints. He put in a lot of time for that. So overall, Mark's an exceptional scholar, making a huge impact to all of society for better tools to understand speech, support in his research community, among his students, and supporting the work of the department college. That's it. I'm pleased to recognize now Mark. Can you come up and be recognized as the William L. Everett Scholar in ECE? To Mark Hasegawa Johnson for the William L. Everett Faculty Scholar.
Thank you, Bruce. I need to, first of all, thank my wife, Yu Hasegawa Johnson. When we first got married, actually when we first became engaged, she was living in Japan. She had finished her master's degree at Harvard and had moved back to Japan, and I was still in Boston working on my PhD. And she moved to Boston for 3 years to support me while I was finishing my PhD. So I figured turnabout is fair play. I then moved to Los Angeles with her to support her career for the next 3 years. And then after that, it was my turn, so we moved to Urbana and to support my career, and we kind of never left, and we're kind of still here. There is a happy ending to the story, though. Actually, my older daughter right now is in college in Osaka, and my younger daughter right now is now in college in Los Angeles. So we've kind of completed the loop in the second generation, if you will. I'd like to thank Andy Singer for recruiting me to the University of Illinois in the first place. I need to thank Steve Levinson for being my mentor for the first 5 years and for keeping the artificial intelligence group at Beckman alive during the third AI winter, the first decade of this century. I'd like to thank Tom Huang for many things that he's done, more or less creating the Beckman Institute, among other things. But among the many things that he's done, he came up with the initial ideas for my third, fourth, fifth, and sixth externally funded research grants. I'd like to thank Bruce for tremendous support in the last few years, and Bruce and Rashid both for supporting the tremendous expansion of artificial intelligence research on this campus in the last several years. This is a field that suddenly became practical, and as a result, the number of people doing research in this has expanded dramatically, and that's a good thing for all of us, I think. And finally, I really need to thank my students. My very first doctoral student, Yanli Zhang, in my first semester came and knocked on my door because she was actually visiting campus trying to find out whether it was worthwhile for her to come to the University of Illinois. She wrote my first full-length journal article in JAZA, my first full-length JAZA article. 4 years later, got her PhD, all the way down to my. I have outstanding current students. Two of them, Huting Gao and Junrei Ni, had their most recent article in the journal Frontiers announced last night. I received the email last night at about 10 p.m. and I immediately announced it on Twitter. So there you go. It has changed a little bit. So I'd like to, basically that's the reason that we're all here. We're here because the students at Illinois are unparalleled in the world, and we can, by working here, we come up with ideas, our students come up with ideas, and we can make things happen that would be impossible to do anywhere else. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Next, I'd like to invite Jonathan Makela to come up to say a few words about Raluca Illy, who will be invested as a Mac van Valkenburg Fellow on ECE.
Thank you, Bruce. And thank you, Raluca, for inviting me to be able to introduce you. It's been great to call you a colleague and a friend over the past several years. So it is my distinct honor and privilege to introduce Professor Raluca Illy as the Mac E. Van Valkenburg Fellow in Electrical and Computer Engineering. Although a true statement of all of our colleagues' work in this department, I think it is particularly accurate to state that Raluca's research is way over my head. She is a leading expert in the area of theoretical and computational magnetospheric plasma physics. Specifically, she constructs state-of-the-art, multi-physics, large-scale, three-dimensional numerical models to improve our fundamental understanding of the complex dynamics of the near-Earth space environment. This region is immense and a challenge to completely observe, necessitating theoretical modeling and numerical stimulation to move our understanding forward. Her work has challenged long-held beliefs about the chemistry and dynamics of the upper atmosphere and is motivating experimentalists to design large-scale missions to test her theories and model results. With less than 3 minutes to introduce Raluca, I will spare you a retelling of her CV. Suffice it to say that over the years, her research has garnered notice across the nation and around the world and has been recognized with the Young Investigator or Early Career Awards from the National Science Foundation, NASA, and the Air Force Office of Sponsored Research. Her ability to break down complex topics in interesting, engaging, and informative ways has made her a sought-after lecturer at campuses across the country and at leading conferences around the world. Raluca is equally passionate about teaching on our campus. She has taught, developed, and improved on courses in our electromagnetics curriculum, including developing a set of immersive virtual reality experiences for ECE 329. The virtual environments that she and her large team of students have developed are, simply put, stunning, and encourage students to learn through doing, something that is traditionally very difficult to do when you're discussing electric fields and particle motion. Students have reacted enthusiastically to these VR labs, indicating that they help their understanding of difficult concepts, and they're also a heck of a lot of fun. Raluca's contributions to our teaching mission were recognized last year with her receiving the Collins Award for Innovative Teaching given out by our college. If you haven't seen these labs for yourself, I encourage you to check out our website and catch a glimpse of them. They're really impressive. This consistent excellence in research and teaching makes her well-deserving of this recognition. However, I would be remiss if I didn't point out that Raluca is equally passionate about mentoring and the holistic development of our students, both in the classroom and in her research group. I have been amazed to see her success in creating a learning environment which is rigorous and challenging while being simultaneously supportive and encouraging. In short, she makes our department and college a place many people, myself included, are proud to be a part of. Congratulations, Raluca, on this recognition. You are truly deserving of being the Mac E. Van Valkenburg Fellow in Electrical and Computer Engineering.
Well, I figured I'd take the longer but safer route.
Okay, Raluca, I'm pleased to present to you this plaque in honor of you becoming the Mac Van Valkenburg Fellow, ECE. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Okay, I took some notes as well. Well, thank you very much, Jonathan, for such an amazing introduction. It's great to have amazing mentors, okay? They do all the work for you. Probably the work to nominate me for the position I'm about to thank you for. It is a great honor to be named the Mac E. Van Valkenburg Fellow, and the significance it carries, it humbles me. Mac Van Valkenburg revolutionized electrical engineering education and engineering curricula across the world as soon as his textbook on network analysis was published. And his kind demeanor actually made him known as a humble guru for electrical engineer students. While I might not fully share his humble nature, I do share his passion for teaching and learning and for making the learning process not only accessible for all students of all kinds and all brains out there, but also making it engaging and fun. That being said, I would like to thank the department head for probably having something to do with my nomination. I would like to thank the selection committee that decided that I am worthy of this honor. I would like to give many, many thanks to my amazing mentors, Jonathan Makela and Jennifer Bernhardt, that have been guiding me and supporting me through this adventure. And I'm not saying this lightly. They were truly amazing. I also like to congratulate myself for selecting them, but they've done all the work. Now I want to thank, and I must thank, my graduate and undergraduate students from my research groups, because I have to, because I have a lot of time on my hands, for the trust and the confidence that they put in me, and for their outstanding work ethic, and for being my teachers in so many ways. And some of them are here, and I must say the best ones. I also want to thank my supportive partner, George, for always considering my best interests first, even when I don't. And last but not least, I would like to thank my book club ladies that made it today, for absorbing without remission all my academic debris. Thank you all for supporting me. I am greatly honored by this recognition. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Raluca. Next, we'd like to honor Michael Olsey as a Frederick G. and Elizabeth H. Naring Scholar in ECE. Please join me in welcoming Peng Fei Song to share a few words about Michael.
I was just telling Michael, it seems the senior colleague introducing the junior colleague, and we have the order flipped here. But it gives me great pleasure to provide this introduction for Professor Michael Olsey for the honor of the Frederick and Elizabeth Naring Scholar. I have known Michael for over 4 years since I was interviewing here at ECE, Illinois. At that time, he was my host faculty member. Now I'm incredibly proud to be able to call him my colleague and esteemed friend. As we all know, Michael is an internationally recognized expert in the field of biomolecular ultrasound. He has made profound contributions and impacts in a wide range of research areas, including diagnostic ultrasound, therapeutic ultrasound, and more recently, medical devices for communications. He has published over 110 peer-reviewed publications with collaborations for more than 10 countries and 17 labs around the world. He has delivered more than 60 invited lectures at national and international conferences, universities, and research laboratories. He has been the principal investigator of more than a dozen NIH grants that include multiple R1s and R21s. This breadth of internationally recognized work is something that I aspire to, as I'm sure we all do. Michael is best known for his work involving the development of novel quantitative ultrasound techniques. He has worked with multiple companies to implement these techniques on their scanners for use in the clinic. As a result, his work has made tangible clinical impact in the areas of identifying liver steatosis, detecting cancer, and monitoring neoadjuvant chemotherapy in breast cancer. In addition to being a prolific researcher, Michael also has an exemplary track record of providing services to his professional societies, to funding agencies, and to our own department. Michael has served on and chaired many committees for the American Institute of Ultrasound in Medicine and for the IEEE Ultrasonics Society. He's an associate editor for many prominent journals in his field and has served on numerous study sections and panels for NIH and NSF. Michael has also been serving as the Associate Head of Graduate Affairs in our own department. And in this role, he's responsible for supporting a robust graduate program with almost 700 graduate students. During his tenure, Michael has implemented many new outreach activities to underrepresented groups in engineering and established new minority scholarship programs to help recruit students from underrepresented groups. For the last 4 years, I have had the privilege to work in tandem with Michael, both within our department and at the Beckman Institute. I'm extremely honored to have Michael as my colleague, collaborator, mentor, and friend. Michael's door is always open to me, students, his colleagues, and anyone who needs him. I've learned so much from him over the years about how to become a productive researcher, an effective instructor, and most importantly, an inspiring and supportive mentor for future generations of scientists and academics. Michael, thank you for being such an inspiration and a role model to me, and congratulations on being honored as a Frederick and Elizabeth Nearing Scholar.
Michael, I'm pleased to present this plaque to honor you as the Frederick Elizabeth H. Nearing Scholar, Faculty Scholar.
That was a great speech, Peng Fei. In fact, a little story about that. He was approaching me about giving this speech, and he gave me some options. He said, for $50, I'll give you a so-so speech, $100 a good speech, $200 a great speech. Being the cheap guy I am, I gave him $100, but that was a great speech instead. So thank you. You gave me more for, all right, gave me more for my money, I guess. Actually, 17 years ago, the University of Illinois took a really big chance and hired me on as a faculty member here. The department hired me on as a faculty member here. Dick Blayhood was the guy who did that. Took a big chance on me and then provided me with the resources and the support and everything I needed to start a career as a professor here and do research. And hopefully I've tried to live up to the expectations that they put onto me. And along the way, I've had many mentors and many people who have just worked with me to build a successful research program and to do the things that we do. And I just want to offer my gratitude to some of those folks. First, let me start off by saying thank you to all the students, past, current, which some are in the audience here, students, postdocs, and hopefully, Lord willing, in the future we'll have lots of students as well who've been instrumental to the success. Rita Miller's here. She's been with me ever since I started and before that. She's a lab manager. She's a vet. She's critical to everything that goes on in our lab. And I'm very grateful to her for all the things that she's done. I'm thankful to my colleagues in ECE and other departments too around campus, but especially in ECE, mentors, colleagues, people that I've collaborated with, a lot of folks there. Just very grateful to all the folks that have done that. I'm grateful to my family, my parents who raised me with their values, my wife and daughter who've been here the whole time. In fact, my daughter was born just a couple of months before I started, so she's been on this crazy train the whole time. And man, she was a baby when I started, and now she's 17. It's crazy. Time flies so quickly. Most important, I think, God, who's responsible for all of the blessings that I have. And finally, let me just say that I'm grateful to the Nearing family and the support that they give to make this scholarship possible. Anyway, thank all of you for being here.
Okay, next I'd like to welcome Professor Mindo to share a few words about Alex Schwing, who will be invested as the W. Jerry Sanders III Advanced Micro Devices Incorporated Scholar in ECE. Min.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. It is my great pleasure to introduce to you my dear friend and colleague, Alex Swing. Alex have been a great contributor to our department and our university. He have been a very active and prolific researcher. Each year, I was amazed that Alex and his students keep producing 15 plus papers to conferences like computer vision and pattern recognition, neural information processing systems, and so on. These are number 1, number 2, and number 3, so on, best venue for all publications in computer sciences area. Alex have been a wonderful advisor and mentors. I have an opportunity to co-supervise a student with him, and I really learn how much the mentorship that and advising that Alex have impact on those students. He's already listed as a teacher, excellent teachers on our campus multiple times. And not just the course that, existing course, since he joined UIUC, Alex took on a great initiative to revamp our pattern recognition course, co-listed a course in machine learning with Department of Computer Sciences. And, he's literally have a line of students and faculty waiting outside to work and collaborate with him, right? I saw that every time I walk out and see in the corridor. So, Alex, congratulations, and it's great to have you in our department. Thank you.
Hey, Alex, I'm not going to read the whole title here again, but it's
the long one.
Yeah. Congratulations to Alex Schwing to be the Jerry Sanders Fellow in Electrical and Computer Engineering.
All right, thanks a lot, everyone. Thanks a lot, Min, for this very nice introduction. Let me first take this opportunity to really thank my students. They're really the ones that do all the work, and they're actually the ones that deserve the credits here. And I usually call them the magicians, because they're really the ones that make things work. They're the ones behind all this success. In addition to that, I also want to thank all the amazing colleagues Min mentioned that I enjoy working with all the faculty here, and I really have great fun doing that. Also, all the mentors here at university and at other places. It has always been great collaborating with all of you, if you listen to that. At the same time, I want to thank the dean and the department head for really their support and really helping out with getting all the things going. At the same time, I do want to also mention all the staff support, particularly Peggy in the CSA department. She's really the one that provides, in a sense, the foundation for the work that we are doing and making sure that this ship is actually sailing properly and not steering in strange paths, let me put it this way. Lastly, obviously, I want to thank the university community and the alumni for providing the opportunities to recognize all of you that are here and many future faculty. I do want to thank my family, and most importantly, and I'm going to keep this now short, I don't want to stand between, I guess, myself and the next person who is really the bedrock of my life and really making sure that I stay focused, and I'm not going to go on tangents here. Thank you.
you, Alex. We're all the way down to the Z's now. So our next honoree will be Jane Jizheng Zhao, and I welcome to the stage Pierre Milan to share a few words about her. Thank you.
All right. It is really my pleasure and my honor to introduce Jane Jizheng Zhao as the William Everett Scholar in ECE. I had the privilege personally of meeting Jane, as I would call her, when she interviewed 6 years ago, I think, right, at Illinois. At the time, she came to us from the Courant Mathematical Institute in New York City, where she went to do a postdoc and be an instructor after her PhD at Princeton. So at the time, she struck me as an amazing theorist, which I loved. So I thought we have got to get Jane on the faculty, and everyone was totally happy about the prospect of having Jane join us, and we are extremely happy about everything that happened to her since, her amazing contributions. What really struck me most, in a way, is how she has branched out from really doing a deep theory, as she was doing, being a physicist and working at the Courant Institute for Mathematical Sciences, to lots of application areas that are extremely challenging and demanding. Some I can even barely pronounce their names. So she started working on a cryo microscopy. I'm sure I've mispronounced that one already. Then she has also been working with a variety of collaborators on issues related to climate and the environment. She basically, despite her neat appearance, specializes in very disordered data. So you have extremely complex data, and you have to make sense of it. This is really what data science is all about. And so she has been able to bring to bear a variety of very complex and creative algorithms, most of which she has designed herself, and bring them to bear on extremely challenging problems. So that has been really a hallmark of her research here. So in addition to this, she has been an amazing teacher. She has contributed greatly to a variety of courses in the department and really revamped them by incorporating ideas and concepts from her research. So she has contributed tremendously to our student community here at UIUC. Jane is actually extremely involved with our signal processing and data science group. So she's actually the chair of that group. So it gives her an opportunity to make sure that the boat is steered in the right direction, as Alex said. And so it has really been a great pleasure to interact with Jane and to see her amazing evolution since she joined UIUC 6 years ago. So Jane, congratulations.
Thank you, Pierre. Congratulations, Jane, on becoming the William L. Everett Scholar in ECE.
Well, thanks a lot. Thanks, Pierre, for this wonderful introduction. And first of all, I would like to thank the whole department and also Dean Bashir. Actually, the first grant that I got from starting at UIUC is actually the SRI grant. So it's actually a support from the college level. I would like to thank all my mentors. Actually, Ming Do is one of my mentors, and also Yoram is my mentor. And actually, my first graduate student is a co-advised by Ming. Actually, Ming introduced that student to me. I would like to say that I really like the students, the undergraduate students and graduate students here at UIUC. They're like wonderful students. And actually, my first student, my first undergraduate student, Hua Chen, actually joined me I think at the end of my first year at UIUC. And within a short period, like I think less than half a year, we actually came up with a 4-page journal paper to signal processing letter. And then afterwards, he moved to Georgia Tech, unfortunately. But I think he still emails me about his progress recently. So, and he is now on the industry side, but he's always like keeping in touch with us, and then thinking that basically the experience in UIUC is the great experience. And I would like to actually thank all the SIGN group faculty. We usually have SIGN group lunch, before the pandemic, and we talk about everything. That's a very, very nice environment and support for junior faculty. And I would like to thank my husband, Alex Schring. And I think actually this is a wonderful place that we finally can get into the same place and work in the same place. And I think it's also a very supporting to the family that we have. And finally, I also want to mention thanks to all the staffs, especially also Peggy for the SIGN group. Without her, she makes everything runs very smoothly. Without her, I don't think we can, my students and I cannot succeed in this endeavor. Okay, so that's it, and thank you all for coming to the ceremony.
Thank you, Jane, and thank you again to all the awardees. That's Z, but that was the last one. So thank you for coming. I invite all the awardees, guests, and family members to remain in the auditorium for formal photographs, and invite everyone to go to the reception out in the lobby. Thank you very much.